Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. I'm gonna assemble another half a butterfly before I get to my community challenge endless loom project. You guys filled that so fast. We have to decide on the next thing. But yeah, I have butterflies. Butterflies. Aren't they beautiful? I'm gonna start assembling another half of one today. So, these three. It gets a fourth face, it gets a candy corn, but that goes in later. And I will assemble that on stream if I happen to be at that point for this cycle. When I get to that point, I might need my thread out, huh? It's a Pearl! It's an elf! How are you doing, elf? What are you up to today? Got my thread. And I've got my sad spool. You can see that I'm on the last row of thread. I need more, but I have silver, which, like, realistically, they're very close in color when it's off the spool. Like, they're very, very close, so I can just use silver for the length of this spool. So I really don't have to buy any more thread. I want to, but I'll just use what I have. Working in quotations. If you need to work, Lyric, I totally understand. It is totally fine. But man, I hope work is easier for you today. I know you've had some rough patches lately, or at least moments in the OMG channel in Saren's Discord. Okay. So what I'm doing before I start my endless loom practice, because I'm gonna break this guy out and learn how to use it today. I've never messed with it before. It was given to me by Immortelle. We did a supply trade. I sent her some super duos and I think some peanut beads and some random beads. And she ended up sending me the endless loom because she doesn't like it. I don't like the jewel loom, and I think it's in my Goodwill pile in the garage still. But everybody has their preferences, you know, and I've always been intrigued by that, and it's not terribly expensive in the stores. I'm working the butterfly today. But it's just something I always forget to buy, and she had one that she wasn't using, and I was like, yeah, sure. It'll only cost me a little bit of shipping to send you some beads that you need, and I'll end up getting a tool that I think is cool. So that worked out. I just haven't got around to it yet is all. Elf, it's been one of those days dealing with a different person trying to push things when I don't have answers. Like, give me time. Oh, is it the guy who was wanting, like, a meeting with you, even though you can't quite help him out? Queen Home Slice, you're working lurking. Can watch for a bit. I will be here for a bit. I just started, so a little washed out, but I will fix my light settings later. Dusky! Hello! Hearts. Love you guys. Love you guys. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, he tried scheduling another meeting, and then when I declined it, he sent 3 more emails. What is his hurry? Like, no means no. No means no, sir. I don't understand. I also don't work in near the same kind of setting as you do, so I wouldn't know how to go about dealing with that, honestly. The extent of what I have to do to bend over backwards for people is remake a drink. Like, very rarely refund them for something. Heck, I don't think I've even done a refund at this location since I started. The few times anybody's asked, I've, like, my manager or somebody who's been there longer than me has been there to help with it, but yeah. Have not had to do refunds. Not like they're easy on our POS anyway. Those computers are terrible. Terrible. Back when I worked there, they pushed us to give the drink coupons if we had to remake. Right. And that's corporate, yeah. That's a lot easier. Is to offer the drink coupons, the $4 ones, rather than to give a refund. And that was a lot easier. It appeased people a lot easier than having to take time out of the person on front register and give them their money back and then interrupt the line and the flow of, yeah. We don't have those. I'm in a grocery store. And so usually people are happy with the remake, and that's usually the end of it. But very rarely will anybody ask for their money back. So I'm grateful for that. What I'm not grateful for is the terrible, weird scheduling whoopsies. Like, I had a trainee on Sunday evening, and it was just us two for the first 2 hours. And this trainee is my friend anyway, so they're like amazing as a person, and we've worked together before as baristas elsewhere. But Sunday is always rough in this town with that post-church rush and being alone and just having to throw somebody to the wolves. I'm just very upset about still. They did great. Like, I knew they would, but like, I want to properly train somebody, and I don't think it's going to happen. Makes me sad. Dusky. They finally finished rebuilding our deck and new front stoop railings. I didn't know they were doing that. Ooh. Does that mean you have a new place to decorate and garden come spring, summer? Oh. Elf, you weren't corporate, but you did honor corporate coupons. See, like, makes sense. I am still a little bit confused on a lot of things as far as what license can and can't do, because anytime I try to ask my manager, she just ignores my questions, or shrugs at me and says it's on StoreLink, which is the information portal we can use, which I can't search on mobile on StoreLink because as much money as Starbucks has, they have terrible mobile web design. It's awful. Even the desktop web design isn't great. And so it's always hard to find information, and you can't do it while you're at work, so you have to remember to do it later, and it's a pain. But I do my best to keep up. It says before you could use your Starbucks gift card at licensed locations. Oh, yeah. And now that people can use their gift cards at licensed locations, they have rolled out the scan for points, either from your PayPal account or your linked credit cards or debit cards. And so I have to disappoint a lot of people and say, hey, no, we can't use the scan for points. If you need your points, you're going to have to reload your gift card. And, we can get you your stars that way. And most of the time they just grump and they pay with card or cash instead of reloading the gift card. And they get 0 points instead of reduced points. So I figure they're like trying to earn like frequent flyer miles or whatever gift card rewards that they're... I don't know. I don't know what it is. People are just grumpy about it. But they just rolled that out, and so I don't think we'll be able to scan for points that way. I don't know. Also, we have to make them press several buttons in order to use the gift cards in the first place, and so people grump about that too. It's funny. It's not funny, it's terrifying. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't tie to the rewards because we had to manually enter the payment into a separate payment system. It was borked. Oh, geez. Yeah. All sorts of borked. But, yeah, most people just don't realize that if it's not a standalone location, it's not a corporate store, so they can't do everything the same. And then they get mad when they can't do everything the same. And I just have to tell them. You know, sometimes that's pricing too, because somebody asked me on something the other day, why is it more expensive here for, I don't even know what it was. I think it was black coffee. And I just had to do the spiel of this is a licensed location, and because it is in agreement with Albertsons, Albertsons has proprietary pricing on certain things on the menu, and yada yada, and it makes people upset. Dusky. Same exact deck. They just replaced what was there, but it was definitely rotting and such. Oh no. We're going to get some of that deck cover paint protectant stuff and paint the deck with it this time. Yes. Well, I'm glad that they fixed it for you though, so that's good. I actually worked at King Scoopers, which is Kroger, Dillon, City Market, 9 million other grocery store names. Gotcha. I work at a Market Street, which is under the United Family brand, which... I want to say about 6 years ago, I could be wrong, got bought out by Albertsons. So United had deals with Peet's Coffee, which I love Peet's. I worked for the licensed Peet's inside of the same Market Street years and years back. And it was great. I've always wondered what it would be like to work for a corporate location, but I unfortunately don't live in a big enough city for that. I almost got to visit one once, but they closed early that day. So, but yeah, it's Albertsons has the deal with Starbucks, which is why all the Pete's inside of all the Uniteds got changed over to Starbucks licensed stores. Yeah. Elf. It gives them half points they can redeem for free drinks, pastries, and merch compared to using the Starbucks gift card. Right, and I don't know why they, like, grump and just don't reload if they're intent on getting points anyway. I don't know. I guess it's an inconvenience or it's a time waste or I don't know what. But it's a time waste if they reload their card anyway with us because we have to call the front desk to... It's password protected. Like, reloading the gift cards is password protected, but, like, giving cash back is not. I don't understand. Desky, it doesn't help all the branding and such is the same. It looks like a Starbucks unless you don't know about the background. So right, exactly, and I get that. But, some customers are understanding, some are not. It's just the way it goes. Heck, even people, like, I'm related to and that I talk to often, you know, and, like, my in-laws are ask me questions as if it is a corporate store, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to your question anymore. I am 3 years out of date, man. It has been 3 years almost. But you're back. All right. Yeah, Albertsons was one of our competitors. For Kroger, yeah, that makes sense. There's an Albertsons in my hometown, which also means that there's a Starbucks licensed store in my hometown, which boggles my mind because last I checked, Taos only had like 5,000 population. Like, what? How is there a Starbucks there? This doesn't make sense. Elf, come here. There's a Starbucks in view of a Starbucks. And I'm not even P&W. Where they are in every corner. Oh no, Pacific Northwest. Oh, gotcha. Starbucks across the street from a Starbucks. Isn't that like a Lewis Black comedy skit? Pretty sure. Ah! Immortal! Ah! Welcome, Raiders! Go on, defend! Oh, jeez. Worst sound clip. I need to fix that. Immortal Raid, running in to shower you with beads and love forever. Hello, Immortal. How was your stream? How did your progress on your beaded photo work in the end? Hello, Rain. Hello, Rita. Hello, Immortal. Wanted to see you do the loom. I haven't opened it yet, but I will. Once I get my little progress on my kaleidocycle. I'm actually doing the butterfly assembly for the kaleidocycle, so you'll probably be interested in that as well. Exclamation point butterfly in chat will send you directly to the PDF. Got like 4 rows today. Sweet. That's amazing. That for a piece that big? Holy cow. Look at you. Yeah, exclamation point butterfly will send you directly to the PDF for the instructions for the butterfly kaleidocycle assembly. The first one I assembled, I had to take apart because I had oriented my triangles incorrectly because I had missed the teeny tiny portion that tells you where to put your hot corners. And so I went back and I looked at that and then got it right the second time. And so let me get to the end of this row here and where the next triangle attaches, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay. So, here we go. We have a partial assembled butterfly. I have a whole one here. This is the orientation in which you put your different corners. They're called hot corners in the terminology. So the points of the watermelons are pointing downwards, the points of the avocados are pointing downwards, and the points of the flower petals are pointing upwards so that these two point towards each other. Ooh, I should grab some noms. Yes, do that. Eat your food. Have some foods. I actually ate lunch before I started. All right, and so what the instructions have you do, Immortal, is you make your first round around one of the triangles, and then on the side that gets a hinge, you can see that it doubles up right here for the 15s. And the reason it does that, and this is genius, I love this. This is the best part about the whole thing. I don't know what I want. Gonna investigate the freezer. You can have the green beans in mine. I'll share. That's about all I've got. I think. Oh yeah. No. Like this is genius. This is fantastic. Because what it does is I'll show you the finished one. So one of those sets is for the hinge, and you do it on only the middle part. And so the other set, you see them sticking out here. It's a lot less easy. It's a lot harder to see with the clear beads than a colored one. So when you fold this together and you zip up your sides and, work your hinge beads into the correct beads, you grab, this is my candy corn, you grab your fourth face, and then it will slot right in to that second set of 15s, as well as the other beads around the edge here. So it's just super perfect, super great. It doesn't break any beads. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah. Oh, Melody's Treasure. So I popped in a while ago while working on school stuff. Kept trying to figure out where I knew you from or where I had followed you from. And then I checked the emotes and realized I followed you because your heart emote was just way too cute. Thank you. Also, you're really interesting. I love watching the beadwork. Well, welcome back, Melody. I also enjoy my heart emote. It is the one of the 4 that I designed myself. Thank you for the compliment there. OMG, it's so pretty. Just like that. Yes. Just like this. Yes, it's so cool. But yeah, it slides in. That 4th side slides in just perfect, just like that. And you zip it up, and then you do your 3 sections, and you do your cross hinges, and Perfect. If there are beginners out there who want to assemble a kaleidocycle and you already know how to make peyote triangles, I would suggest the new instructions for the butterfly net assembly is great. Or you could just learn to make butterflies. That works too. But thank you, Melody, for the compliment. I designed that emote. It was all me. It's actually a color palette swap of one of my tutorial diagrams. So it's like the small heart of a 3-heart bracelet. Gotcha. You were frozen? Oh no! I'm sorry. Oh man, a sub. Oh, Melody, thank you so much. Ah, and Dusky's back. Ah, something for work and share my screen. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Melody, for the sub. All right, so what happens now is I move my beads out of the way. Put them somewhere safe. The triangles can stay. They're not in danger of being messed up. I get out my handy dandy journal, go to my Twitch tracker page, and you get to choose what triangle design you would like for me to start a kaleidocycle of your own. You can have anything. We've had lots of food. I've had a bunch of flower requests. I've had logos for stuff. I've had various pictures. Sub things happening? Lol, yes. I make the triangles for all of the people. This morning, well, last stream, Sapphire changed her food requests to alien and spaceship themes for her sub cycle. So that's going to be interesting to work on. Let me get your username correctly in the next available space. DYS. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to write treasures very small. Ah! Don't you love that? Taking up all the space and then don't have any left. Nice. Mermaid. Ooh. How's that gonna work? Ooh. How do I do a mermaid in triangles? Like maybe mermaid scales? Okay, I need to Google ideas. Ooh. Now I'm intrigued. Oh, Immortal, you redeemed a Reginald fan club sticker. My gosh. Okay, you're going to be number 6, and Saren's at number 5. I'll add you to my mini list. So that Ixo will... That is not the right one. It's this one. That one was other notes. Yay. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Reginald's going to be on everybody's Twitch. We're also going to do them as business cards if we could ever figure out what to do on the backside. And so people can have like physical fan club cards. It'd be great. You literally had just enough. I'm at 0 now. Oh no. But you had enough, so that's amazing. Okay. I'm thinking, Melody. Do you want mermaid scales? Do you want like an actual mermaid within the circle? Kind of like, I just have a Google image search up. I Googled mermaid circle, and so this is what came up. Something like this. Well, obviously not as detailed, but like, I'm just Googling stuff. I always need references to look at anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking scales. Yeah, let me see. Oh, Melody, the most important part of my username, and anything oceany. If you can't do mermaid, okay. Oceany, gotcha. I have done ocean waves. I can actually show you what those look like. They look kind of like octopus tentacles, actually. But yeah, I think I'll do a... Because I just like scales. But there might be a way to do a mermaid. I think I'll doodle in scales for now, and if I ever figure out a way to do a mermaid, I will substitute that. But yeah. Scales would be fun. Okay, yeah. That's gonna be the first thought. It's gonna be the easiest. Oh my gosh, I cannot spell. Ortelle. Immortelle, you are number 6 for the Reginald fan club. I'm number 1. Raven was 2. Graceful Dawn was 3. I know hers is actually uploaded on in her Twitch panels. Ali Juno was 4. Saren just redeemed one for number 5. And now Immortelle. But yes, I have little ocean waves. Had a couple of people ask for these actually. Boop. If I did them in purple, it would look like an octopus. Except only 6 legs instead of 8. Pretty. That should make me lucky 7. Oh, wait, did you... Elf, yes. You are the lucky number 7. Yay, my waves. Yes, these are Dusky's waves. Wrath Leader has requested some for his Batwing cycle, though, too. So I'll be making some more in the future. But yeah, there's my other ocean-y themed one that I've actually already made. Which I'm working on your cycle, Dusky. It is the stop motion project. And so every time I look at it, I go, oh, look, lots of work. Let's do something else. I have so many cycles. All right. Elf, number 7. Ixo's going to come home today and be like, how did you already make more work for me? I'm going to be like, you were away. I'm sorry. Those look so cool. They are cool. But I'll do mermaid scale. So I'm going to just do boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. I will figure out how to turn these into pixel art later. Doop, 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 ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Don't mind my sound effects. Ah! I don't know what I did. I did something silly in there. My cycle is 4 seasons. So those are the summer side. Gotcha. They are. And yours are actually going to go in season order. So if you turn it one way, it will be spring, and then the summer will be here, and then the third side will be fall, and then winter. And then if you do it the other direction, the seasons are actually in order. I made sure that that would happen when I did assemble the first butterfly. No, I'm going to lie. That's a lie. It actually happened to work out on accident, but at least I made sure to check anyway. Okay. Mermaidy colors. Let's get kind of a tealish. I need purple in here somewhere. I'm going like hologram sticker colors. Where's my purple? A purple? No, that's blue. Where'd it go? I only have a couple of purple color pencils. And the way I have them stored is not as efficient as the last way I had them stored, but it takes up less desk space, so it's worth it sometimes, unless I'm on stream. Hey, claim it if it worked out. What? Yeah, okay, fine. It worked out. There we go. Got it. No! How? Okay. Okay, that hit the spot. Better with cheddar sausage wrapped with sourdough bread instead of buns. Ooh, that sounds good. Man. Now I want a sandwich. I have turkey, but I don't have any bread. I have tortillas. Okay. So I'm just going to color in some random colors. It won't be this detailed like in the actual sub triangle. Maggie, thank you for that host. I see you there, friend. But it will look like scales. I just do the doodle part first. Just as a reminder of, hey, look, you need to make something here. This one might be a little bit of a challenge when I get to it, but there we are. Let me get it closer up so you can see. Ta-da! Mermaid scales. Woohoo! All right. I'm doing good, Maggie. How are you today? I am just filling in a sub-triangle for Melody. We're going mermaid theme on this one. I might do like shiny beads so it like looks like holographic sticker. You know, like the rainbow fish. That's what I'm channeling, my inner rainbow fish. You're doing good. That's awesome. And then I am finishing assembling half a butterfly for Jess. And I am almost to the part where I can fold it up and drop in candy corns. Be great. But that will happen off stream as I am actually going to be trying out my endless loom today because you guys donated 10,000 channel points for me to get off my butt and stop procrastinating about a thing I've had for, I don't think I've had it for quite a year. Because I know Immortel and I traded in like November of 2019. Mine got there first. It rained a crap ton in Tennessee for months and months and months because Tennessee is a very wet state. And then it came to me several months later. So I don't think I've had it a whole year yet, but I've had it for too long to be unused still. So today's the day that I start a project and don't finish it. All the hearts. Hi. So I need to put in one more triangle, and it's going to be glow flower. Oh, this one does glow in the dark, by the way, guys. Like, let me show you. Glow under black light, actually. Let me go to the right. Here you go. Ta-da! Look at it. Look at it glow. So the avocados and the flowers glow, and the thread glows through the beads, the clear beads that I'm adding, so the whole thing will actually glow. Except for the watermelon won't, but the candy corn will because I used Sono thread. Love it. I love it too. It's so great. I'm so excited for all of these because they're all different now. Like, they're all different at this point, which is amazing. And then with that like last final color selection for all the edge beads by everybody, even if two people end up with the same patterns, that edge color is usually going to be different because no two people seem to have the same favorite color. Allie, hey, how's it going? Were your ears burning because I was talking about you? You were on the list of Reginald fan club members. How are you doing? Looks very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lol. So I'm just zipping together this third triangle. You're doing good. Awesome. I've been wondering if you have done any beadwork lately or if cross-stitching has taken over. Because at this point, it's like, I want to see you do more bead points. Oh, no, wrong bead. 15s. These are 15s, these are 11s. They're hard to tell apart unless I, like, squint. They are both delicas. I usually do size 15 round beads, but I didn't have any in this color, so we're doing it with delicas. Because somehow I do have a few colors of 15 delicas. I've been trying to collect them slowly over time. Cross stitching is taking over. Not one of us. So sad. It's okay. Immortelle bead point is on my schedule this year too. It is definitely, I find it more time consuming than just freehand stitching. Like, I would rather do a hand beaded peyote tapestry than a bead point. Oh no, it's just, no, really what my issue is the pattern I chose is blue. Too much blue, and so I have a hard time bracing myself. Allie, truthfully, since I moved downstairs, I've lost my thread and needles and you haven't found them? Oh no. Did you just move to a different part of the house to work on stuff? Is that what that is? Man. That's hard. I'm sorry. Please don't lose your needles in, like, cushions or the carpet or anything, though. Just please tell me you've misplaced the package, that's all. Immortelle, yeah, but it's good to have in my arsenal so I can frame them easier if I get requests. True. True. Mine is just going to end up being a journal cover when I'm done with it. Like, it's big enough for a pillow, but, like, I don't use decorative pillows. So I put that much work into it. It's going to be something I see every day, you know. Allie, I moved downstairs for my surgery, so I didn't have to try to walk upstairs. And yes, they are in their container. I just can't find it. Okay. At least they're not lost in the carpet. But also that makes sense. Have you recovered? Hopefully by this point, to some degree. Journal cover would be awesome. It would. And it's down here? No. Down here? Yes. I've actually taken it off the Q-snap because I don't enjoy the Q-snap I have. It's in my Goodwill pile. It was also like a cheapo one I found at a garage sale. It's definitely not name brand. But I have my bead points all folded up. Ta-da! So I'm almost at the halfway point. Once I finish the rest of that column where you see the gap, it will be halfway done. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with back stitching. I'm thinking probably French wire, couch some French wire on top. Also, there seems to be a bead missing right in here. I don't know what happened. Gonna stay that way, I guess. Must have busted it when I reinforced. I don't know. But yeah. So here's my phoenix. Phoenix in the lantern with some, like, buildings behind it. I still haven't made a phoenix command. I keep forgetting to. I don't work on this one very often, but when I do, I just work on it holding the fabric. I don't have it in a hoop. I don't have it in a Q-snap. I don't like either one, honestly, and I can just fold it up and put it in one of my whip drawers. So many whips. Got so many, guys. It's insane. But yeah, it's going to be a journal cover. It'll be about the right size to mount and then attach to my disc binding system, which is currently Cats in Space, which super makes me happy. But yeah, that's the plan for when that's done, which is never, because I don't like that much blue. Allie, I'm doing good, no longer in any pain. Still have to be careful not to lift or move anything heavy. Understandable. You don't want to rip anything or overexert for a while, right? So pretty. Thank you. VP, your website link in your bio doesn't work perfectly. sent to a Twitch user, aka to Twitch URL before your own URL. What? Oh, like down below? Let me look. Thank you for checking things for me. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. Can't go easy places. Come on. Website. Shame. Okay. Yeah, that's my bad. Thank you, Maggie. But if you're looking for it, it should be in my social command. And that link is actually working correctly. It's just old blog turned store. Partial store, still old blog. I'm playing around with what I want to do with the website long term. But so far this is working for me. As far as my enjoyment of it is better than it used to be. I need to fix that though, and I will write it down so that I can do that post stream. Thank you for finding that mistake. I'll get to it. Because I found that if I spend all stream tweaking other stuff, then I don't ever get to the project that I'm actually have in my stream title. And I would actually like to do that for once today. Thank you for finding that, Maggie. I really, really appreciate it. I had no clue. It's been a minute since I messed with my Twitch panels. Most of the time I mess with the schedule, if I'm going to mess with anything, and then I don't, like, proofread everything else. I'm pro streamer here. Ugh. Ouch. Alright, so I have all the triangles attached, but what I still need to do here is I need to weave my thread to this side so that I can have half a hinge added in beforehand before I stitch up the rest of this. Yeah, I thought you might have it in a command of your social media, but I just want to give you a heads up. Didn't expect you to fix it live on stream. That's fair. I will fix it though. I really need to get in the habit of like looking at my notes that I've taken during stream and just immediately fixing stuff instead of like coming back to my notes like weeks later and being like, I forgot. I forgot. I need to do Twitch admin stuff that same day. So like when I get done, I will tell IXO about more Reginald redemptions for the Reginald fan club so that he can do them in batches instead of one at a time. Although I could also technically just find the file and alter it myself. It wouldn't be that hard. I just have to know where he saved it. I like your panel theme. Thank you. IXO made all my panels. They are gorgeous for anybody who has not yet seen them. They look like this. Here, let me scroll up. Come on. Scroll up. Vanishing Pearl. Me. Hello, my name is. With a little bead going, oh, do I gotta be here? The official Reginald fan club sticker. This is what we're talking about. Anybody who redeems 5,000 channel points can get a customized one with your username and your number. Your number is first come, first serve, so I'm number 1. And then it goes from number 1 down until forever. I don't know. So far, this is only a digital file. It is for you to upload on your Twitch panels if you are a streamer. If you are not a streamer, it is a digital file for you to do with whatever you like. We are going to get them printed business card size so we can actually just stick one in the mail with a stamp on it and mail it out to you guys as when we get those in. But we have to come up with something for the back if we have it as a physical piece. I'm still beating, by the way. And then we have my commands. With a little guy with a kazoo. He's got a little kazoo. Da-da-da-da. He's cute. I need to update some of these commands. A lot of them are outdated and don't get used, like, ever. So I need to just narrow it down to the ones that do get used and new ones that would be useful for you guys. Allie is number 4. I think you're... No, wait. Are you number 4 or you number 3? You're number 4. You would know, you have the file, I don't. I think that's right. Yeah, Allie's number 4. Oops. It's on here somewhere. Number 4. When to tune in. The calendar. Fun fact, this is actually my birthday, September 5th. For anybody who's curious. Yeah. Typically Tuesday afternoon, roughly 2 to 6. Give or take, a little bit of time. Bonus whenever I'm in the mood for it, because my work schedule sucks. Not sucks, but is not reliable, because it's food service roller coaster. Ooh Shopping is all the places you can buy stuff from me. Etsy Shop has finished jewelry. This is Redbubble, I think. Ixo's Redbubble of my stuff. I don't have the website shop on here yet, but I should once I eventually get it bigger. Because eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to have made-to-order stuff and tutorials only on my Etsy, and then like all of my one-of-a-kind stuff is going to be on the website, as well as the tutorials and the made-to-order stuff. So everything will be on the website, but only certain things will be on Etsy, just to make my life easier, and so that I can still be found and generate traffic towards my website. So, and then all my socials right here. So they're all bead themed. Because I asked him for it like forever ago, and then he finally got around to them all at the same time. That's just kind of how his workflow is that if it's anything I need, we have an agreement that anytime he is unemployed, which he was at the time, I get to request art of him. Anytime he is employed, I get to pay him for his art. Whoa. So he was unemployed at the time, and so I just occasionally pestered him to make me some art. But he has agreed beforehand for the Reginald redemptions to alter the files and send them to the people in question anyway, so yeah. I don't have any art I need him to do for me, I don't think. Usually he'll just do stuff on his own, so I end up with like random emotes, new random emotes for like Discord every now and then. Like he did the Stitch Witch in white, and then he did the kazoo in all sorts of rainbow colors. It just did that one day because he was already working on an emote commission for someone else. Alright, there we go. Half a butterfly. I think I need to do my half of the hinge before I set this down, though. It's hard to read the command graphic pic when you're in the night dark mode. I know, I did tell him that. I told him he needed to have white strokes on the black letters. And so that's something I will write down so that I can tell him. But yeah, all the, since they're PNGs, they're transparent, all the black letters don't read well on night mode. I've noticed that on my own phone as well. Getting the notebook out. These are things I'll have to deal with immediately after stream, self. Immediately after. Tonight. Let's see. Black letters of Twitch panel art. Don't show up on dark mode. Because really all it needs is a white stroke around the black letters, which you wouldn't see the white stroke on daylight mode, but you would see it on the dark mode, so that the letters would actually be readable. Which also is something I can do myself if I can figure out where he's put the original files. I am not adept at Illustrator, but I am good enough to get some of my own stuff edited. I just need to go and do that stuff. But thank you, Maggie. If you see anything else that needs pointing out, let me know. I hope that you know I do it to be helpful. Thank you. I need the reminders. I agree that, oh, those things need to happen. It's fine. Constructive advice and or help for other people to be able to see it easily as well. I know you're being helpful. Because if somebody's viewing on dark mode, I'd want them to know what they're looking at. I just forgot. That's what happened. I forgot. Because I never wrote it down. And so I never made a note to come back to that. So I'm doing beads for my hinge ahead of time, so that when I make the second butterfly for this set, that I can just weave those right in and not have to worry about it. I do make a little bit bigger hinges than what most kaleidocycles you see are. I feel like it's sturdier that way. So I make them 3 rows instead of I think it's 2 rows max. Or I make them, technically it's a 1, brain, so 5 rows. 2, 3, 4. So technically it's 5 rows instead of 3 rows. Because you count rows and diagonals with peyote stitch, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Including the 15s on the other side. Whereas traditional kaleidocycles that I haven't made are 3 rows total. So I just have 2 extra rows in there for movability, durability, and to help ease the tension, because these are kinetic. They do move. I don't want the tension of it being moved so much to snap a thread, basically. Yeah. And this will be the end of assembly for today, once I get these woven in and secured. But yeah, that's how my butterflies go together. Do the same thing on the other side, and then you can fold them up and add in stitch your sides together, and then add in that other piece up here, and then you can stitch the units together down here, and it just turns into a nice big happy easy thing. Ooh, might not have given myself enough tail thread on this one. Ugh, time for another meeting. Another one. At this point, we're going to just be all meetinged out, Desky. I hope it is short and sweet and to the point. Alright, so I'm putting my needle away. I don't need that size anymore today. I don't think. If I need to get it out again, I will. Alright, and so I'm done with this. I'm leaving the tail thread to attach to another half when I get it made. Like so. And then this stays because it's the thread you use to weave these sides together and to add the fourth piece in here, which are candy corns for this cycle. Boop. Just like that. And then when I'm done with that, it'll look like this one, which I just finished last week. So I've got some limes, and I've got some grapes, got oranges, and watermelon. Bye, Queen Home Slice, I miss you, I love you. I gotta go. Glad I could hear and watch you today. Your triangles are so pretty. Thank you. Thank you. You're so pretty. In case nobody said that lately. There you go. And there's the limes facing inwards, and then there's the grape leaves facing inwards. This one is for RLB, who still hasn't seen it rotate, that I know of. And there's oranges, and the watermelons facing outwards. I haven't actually figured out how to have everything face inwards in the same order and then outwards in the same order. But it's a bit too late for these guys, so these will have 2 and 2, and so will Desky's will have 2 and 2. Which is no big deal. It's just something for my own curiosity, I guess. So I'll probably practice that on Wrath Leader's Kaleidocycle. Because how does it face on my original one? My original one, we got pizza and candy corn. See, and onigiri and the watermelon are still facing outwards. So I didn't even do it all the same way on this original one. Candy corn, onigiri, and then outwards candy corn. I mean watermelon. Yeah, there are words in there somewhere. Oh, but yeah, you can see the quality difference of almost 3 years of making Kaleidocycles. This one is much sturdier, much nicer. Also not as old. It is brand new. And I just like it a lot better. This is why I do the wide hinges, is because you get wear and tear on these guys over time. But yeah, Immortelle. Man, the butterfly shape would be a pretty ornament or something. It really would. It'd be great. The instructions for the assembly are even in a butterfly pattern if you were to just make this and not make it a Kaleidocycle. I kind of wish they hadn't done that, or I kind of wish they'd done an alternate pattern, of 4 different faces, so that'd be slightly easier to grasp. Like, don't get me wrong, it's already easier to grasp than everything else they've done, but it would have made it even easier if they'd done 4 different patterns, then make it look like a butterfly. But that's okay. I can adapt. Yeah, it's interesting looking. But yeah, I have improved over time. I'm going to clean up these beads. That one goes up there. This one goes over here. I need to drink water. Toss my little butterflies in their little baggie. I just keep everybody's triangles and partially completed cycles in a little tiny plastic bag with their username. I got this one wet, apparently, so sorry, Jess. Your little tag is wet. And then I keep the tag because you guys will get bat wings for the second round of Kaleidocycles. And after the second round of kaleidocycles for each user. I won't be doing kaleidocycles forever for you guys. I'm transitioning to something else, something stupid and silly, I hope. And I will let you know when details are final on that. But, you know, that's like 3 years of subbing per user before I switch you guys over to something else. So brand new users will still get kaleidocycles. Oldest viewers will get something ridiculous and punny. Count on it being punny and stupid. You know, just giggle levels of stupid and laughter. I've been brainstorming ideas with a couple people, but I'm not 100% what I'm going to do yet, so. But yeah. I really like the butterfly assembly, which can also be done for the batwing cycles, which is how it actually came into being. Is it was created as a way to assemble batwing kaleidocycles together. So once I get my first batwing underway, I'm curious to see how that works. I actually might take apart my partly finished batwing kaleidocycle, make a longer hinge on the 2 tetrahedra I have, and then assemble the other 2 tetrahedra units with the butterfly assembly just to see how that works. Alright, so before I get out the endless loom, because I'm at my stopping point, I'm going to show you my color palette, which is this atomic kind of aqua mint green, atomic yellow, and bright white. These are beads I got at Joann's. They are size 6O, also known as E-beads. This is going to be like, I like to use big pieces for practice stitches. Also, it's going to be a stretch bracelet because, yeah, I'm going to use some gossamer thread. I'm going to use, which I've never used before, gossamer floss. I've been looking for something like this because I fucking hate stretch magic. Like, sorry for the curse words, but I hate stretch magic, like, with a fiery passion. Don't buy it. If anybody asks you to make a stretch bracelet, just no. Don't use it. So I ordered this. I ordered this from Shipwreck Beads, which is it was a little expensive. It was like $6 or something for the card. And it looks similar to what you can find at Hobby Lobby now called Ilonga, which I think is like a Beadalon or Beadsmith product. I haven't bought that yet because I have this. But if I like this, I will buy Ilonga in future because it has so many other colors. So I'm not going to quite follow the instructions for the Endless Loom. I'm going to kind of makeshift my own ideas, because I wanted to use this as stretch bracelet material for a little while. But I didn't get the Endless Loom specific loom bands because those are expensive. It's like $6 for like, I have it up. How many are in here? Oh, I can't even see. Let's look at the black one. Here we go. However many this is. Like, I don't know. How many is it? That price is way... That's Etsy prices. I'm going to say 6 of each. So, like, 18 bands for... That's off. Up to $9. $4. $4. Yeah, just not great pricing. They look exactly like jelly bands, honestly. So I'd probably rather just buy a pack of jelly bands in all the colors. Hope you enjoy the loom. I just couldn't manage it. I know. I'm not going to do the attach it to a clasp method, mostly because I don't have the right kind of clasps. And I don't want to do square stitch starter strips just yet. But that would be an option in the future. for the type of clasps that I do have. Maggie, you have the emote. You have the kazoo. Awesome. But yeah, jelly bands look like they would work just fine with the endless loom. I just don't have any. So I'm going to be using this instead, which is fine. But yeah, look at all those colors, man. The thing is, they're probably way, way thicker in diameter than the endless loom specific bands, which are meant to be used with smaller beads. They still look pretty thick though, so again, that's why this stuff. But that'll just be me playing. For now, I am going to get up and stretch and hydrate, etc. I suggest you guys do the same. I've been live for just about an hour, so I need to make sure my back doesn't hate me later. Yeah, I will be right back, all right? See you in a bit. Nope, wrong one. Sorry. Hello, I'm back. Wrong one. See, I got 3/4 of my bottle drunk. I went and took a walk around my backyard. Did some stretches along the way. Checked on my flower beds because things are starting to come back to life. Welcome back, VP. Thank you. My irises look like they're trying to get ready to bloom soon. Not like immediately, but they have like new growth. All right, so I think we need to zoom out. Zoom it out. Probably just need to change settings anyway. The sun is moving around like it is wont to do. All right, zoom out. Let's see. Will it work? I don't even know where focus is supposed to be at this point, but let's get the pizza in focus, I guess, and just go from there. And then I'll change the brightness on my face as well. I used the big mat today because I was working with the big setup. I need new colors of bead mats, I think. I would like the blue one. I think that'd be nice. See, I like looking at blue, I just don't like working with it. It's auto settings. Hello. Alright, so Endless Loom comes in this handy dandy package. I did not get the outer box, which looks like this guy over here, because this was something Immortelle had and sent to me, so I didn't get the outer box. I think the instructions are still in here though, so I've looked at it. Might be loud, sorry. Yeah, instructions are still in there. I have watched a couple of videos every now and then when I think of it. So this is the loom itself. Endless Loom, designed by Deb Moffat Hall. And she has instructions as well as like a bunch of different ideas that she's done over time with this. Basically, it's just a couple of pieces of wood. We got some dowels, tension rods, and then spacer bars. And these are all labeled for what size bracelet you're making. So this is for, ooh, you can't read that. It says 7.5 inch bracelet. So I assume this one's 7, which is the most standard size. Yeah, 7 inch bracelet, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. Is that how that's going? For every 1/2 inch? Nope, that's 9 inch. So 7, 7.5, 8 inch. Bracelet. This says for an 8 inch ornament. What? What does that mean? 2 5/8 inch ornament. What? That's weird. So one's for 8 inch bracelet. There's an 8 inch ornament. I'm guessing that's like Christmas ornament. That's weird. 8.5 inch bracelet and then 9 inch bracelet. Yeah, this one's throwing me off. I don't know why. What it's doing. 7 is the most common. And I know that you put these in here. And both dowels are labeled, which is nice, just in case you like drop one or something. So you set them in there. Because I do wear 7 inch bracelets, so there's your loom doing its little thing. Being a loom. I think about buying Hype Kazoo socks. I keep forgetting that I can buy Hype Kazoo socks. That would be awesome if you did though. Because then you'd get cool socks and then like IXO would get like little kickback for, you know, Redbubble fee. So What else is in here are the little bands. I know that this file, it's like a little, is it a file, an emery board? Is it a touch up sanding smooth surface if necessary, keep away from children. So it's like a tiny emery board in case the edges are sharp on the dowels. Yeah, so it's a little file so you can sand away sharp edges, I guess. I don't know. That's a weird thing to include, but you know, whatever. I guess because they could just be sharp or something. It's strange. It's cool looking though. That's a neat little sanding tool. Get the hype kazoo socks. That'd be fun. I need hype kazoo socks for me. Because we put stuff on Redbubble, but I haven't actually purchased any of it yet. Was AFK helping my mom. I was looking at the little sanding stick tool that's in here for like sharp edges on the wood. It's interesting. I like it. It's a neat design. It should sand down any sharp edges, which there aren't any, but that's what it's for. And you got the little bands. These are like just normal little loop elastics. Get this open. Get some green ones out. So, yeah, I know where to go if I need for little tiny hair elastics, but they're here to keep the pieces of your loom together. Yeah, I definitely need to change the focus now that I have something out to focus on. That's a little better. Cool. But yeah. Like, I don't really think that this is going to come apart, but these bands are to prevent it from coming apart, from what I've seen. There we go. Just leave them just like that. So, like, so I have a 6-inch wrist, which means I would wear a 7-inch bracelet. If you guys are curious, I do have my tape measure. Eep. Just over 6 inches, really. So I have a 6 1/4 inch. But a 7-inch bracelet should still do. I could do 7.5, but I think that'd be too big for me. You always add an inch for clasp for bracelets when you're measuring for bracelets. And this guy, I don't know. I'm gonna measure all the way around. Look at that, 7 inches. Sweet. Perfect. Hello, Blue Feather. How are you today? What are you up to? I am playing with a new tool. Kindly sent to me by Immortelle Designs. She's sweet. We traded materials. Did you ever find a use for your super duos, Immortelle? I am curious. Why can you buy a shower curtain with your scissors emote? Ask Ixo. He's the one who selected stuff. Oh. Let's see. Let me go look at stuff. If you scroll down to go shopping, the official VP collection by Lab D, which is Ixo, Maggie is talking about the Reginald shower curtain. Finally did. There's a pretty beaded box I'm gonna be making soon. Ooh, cool. With super duos? So like shower curtain with Reginald, logo socks, one of my various logos, pearl palm tree socks, Stitch Witch t-shirt. Oh, what else did he pick? Vanishing Pearl, the pearl logo on a throw pillow, face palm socks, and kazoo socks. Hype kazoo. Katie Dean. Of course Katie Dean designed it. I was looking at a Katie Dean box earlier today, too. Oh, man. That orange is the same as the orange of the socks. Interesting. But, yeah. Just nerdy, stupid stuff. Because Ixo plays around on Redbubble anytime he does logo work or design work for me or for someone else, you know. He'll just bring up Redbubble and put stuff on the most random of things. But yeah, no, I need some hype kazoo socks. One day. I remember. She's amazing. Katie Dean is fantastic. She was at one point also the editor of Bead magazine? Is that Bead? No. It was Jean Power, then Chloe Minaj, and then Katie Dean, and now it's Vicki Roberts. So Katie Dean was the editor I don't think I ever had. But I've read her blog at various points in time. And just, I have her, like, sewing machine box saved just because that thing is gorgeous. It is amazing. Is it even in my Google search results? I think it is. Alright, and so the last thing I have in here didn't actually come with the kit, but I keep it here because it is an elastic bracelet. It is very old. This was given to me by a collector of mine who just wanted me to reuse it for the beads, but once I realized it was a stretch bracelet, I'm like, I am keeping this intact because I want to know what kind of thread this was. So this thing, it's got to be at least 20 years old. Can't be anything younger than that. Me too, I bought the pattern and her camera. Oh man, I haven't even seen the camera. But yeah, it's very, very faded. These are also transparent beads. The pattern is very, very faded. It was a stretch bracelet. It is not stretchy anymore. This has been a long time since it was the correct size. But I'm very, very curious as to what the warps are made of. Because they are elastic. It's not anything I can buy in stores these days. It's... Here, let me get my other stretch bracelet. I'll just be off screen for a second. It's in the bathroom. So this is similar to like kind of the gold coated elastic cords you can buy in stores. I don't know. But it is knotted at the ends here for each warp. So there's a whole row where the knots are just kind of there. You know, this is probably something not handmade. In the US, it's probably like outsourced, made in Mexico, made in Taiwan, you know, just like cheap labor something. This is my guess. I don't know exactly where it came from. But that doesn't mean that the threads used and the beads used aren't of good quality, because they were at one point. You know, elastic is always going to wear down and be weird over time. This is an elastic bracelet I made when I was 10. It's the oldest piece of beadwork I have. Oh, geez. People, I do expect you to get your own emotes as shower curtain. I have a see you later alligator as my shower curtain currently. Funky don't give a fuck if it's faded. She loves it. Yeah, I haven't taken it apart, and I'm not going to. And I don't care that its elastic is gone. It's really cool. It's a really nice example of an elastic bracelet. It's just huge. It worked more as like a, I don't know what it would work as now, but it did have the warps tied. It's still better elastic than anything I can get all this off the shelves at the moment, you know. Wow, that's intense. Yeah. But this is the first one I ever made, and I still wear it often. And it's made with elastic that I can't, you know, get in the store either. It's that thin stranded stuff, which is why I bought the gossamer that I have today, because this is the closest I can find to this type. They look alike. This is thinner still. This is still definitely thinner. You can't find thin stretch elastic anymore. And I vaguely remember making this it got left behind when we moved away. So this was left behind when we moved away from the house I grew up in. And my sister went back and visited at one point, and the guy was like, I found a bunch of stuff. And this was in that pile of stuff. And she's like, oh, I think my sister made that. And so she gave it to me when she came back from a trip home. So I have this because of my oldest sister. And it's still nice, and it still flexes, and it's like older elastic is so much nicer. And so I'm trying to find things that are new that are similar to the old stuff, and I just can't really. But we're trying this out today. It's a lot nicer looking than Stretch Magic. It looks like it will take knots. It's good so far, I hope. But yeah, the better to inspect the individual pieces. Hello, Gamer Mama. How are you today? What are you up to? Maggie's on a lurker mode. So yeah, we're gonna try the Gossamer Floss with this, even though the intended product is something else entirely. So I don't know. I'm playing around. We'll find out. It's cool. So yeah, I don't know where to get some of the old styles of elastic. Just doesn't make sense. Gamer Mama trying to learn a new pair of earrings. Ooh, do you have photos? You can always post in Discord or post links to where it is. I want to see. I'm going to stuff some of this other stuff back in there. I'm going to ignore the instructions entirely because they are for starter strips for bracelets with clasps, which is the actual intent of this piece, is to make a loom woven piece using warp threads to tie starter strips together, which is genius in and of itself. I just want a stretch bracelet today, though. Like, I really love this. I really, really love it. It's cool, but it's not what I want. Boop. Okay. Put that in there, put this in there, since I have the parts that I need out. Come on. Zip back up. And so, I've just got big beads today. I don't even know what size needle I'm going to use with them. Here's my loom. I'm probably only going to do something like 3 or 4 beads wide, so I'll need only 4 or 5 warp lengths. Okay, I got this stuff. Yeah, I don't even know what to tie it to. I'm just gonna tie it around here. Well, no. Well, yeah. Because it's not individual loom bands. Hey, that does take knots nicely. Look at that. Cool. One, 2. I don't know. Maybe I should move that further down here. Yeah. So count this as warp 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know the whole point of endless loom is not to have warp threads to tie in, but just because it's this and not actual like jelly bands, I'll only have 2 to tie in. So should I do 3 or 4 beads across? You just got started on them? All right. When you do have photos, I'd like to see. 4? All right. 1 more. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up top. Oh wait, if I tie it like I just did, then I can't, that won't work. Okay. No. That won't work. Dang. Can I unpick my knot? Because it has to move around the loom as you go. Can I unpick my knot, or is it just like a good knot that I didn't even try hard to make? I don't want to have to waste material if I don't have to. Nope, it's a good knot. All right, looky there. All right, so we know that this stuff makes good knots. That is awesome news, actually. Wait, so does that mean it has to be a slip knot or something? I don't know. Oh, that might be a good idea. Alright, so I'm gonna just cut this off and start again. Slip knot might work. See, I'm doing things that are totally against the rules, so I am already making stuff up as I go. I am donning it, if you would. If she were here, she'd be like, yep. Let's try that. I don't know. Maybe. Keep thinking I hear a male voice talking in the background. Well, I have set my music to no vocals. I was just sipping on my Coke. Does that sound like a male voice? You know, I would not be surprised if my neighbors are loud enough that you can hear them. Something weird on my end then. Maybe. Don't know. Okay, so that knot is actually not going anywhere. That's awesome. Okay. I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to loop this around the end here. And then make this weird diagonal motion. But I can move this anytime I need to move the beadwork. And I think that would work better. So let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't actually plan any pattern ahead of time for this, so we're gonna see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then cut it long enough to make a loop knot on the other end. Yeah. I'm just gonna make the knot and then worry about the wrapping later. Gee, there's a preview video playing in another tab. Definitely something on your end then. Okay. Alright, let's do this again to get the tension okay. So 1, 2. Don't follow instructions. It's a good fun time for me, I suppose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly spaced the same width apart. Immortal, are you having fun watching this? Is that tight enough, I guess? Alright, so I just kind of looped it to the thingy. These holes are big enough that this thread will go through it twice in order for me to weave in. I wonder if I need that tighter though. Okay, so maybe it's 6 across then. All right, we're doing a 5 bead pattern then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 warps. 5 bead pattern it is. That was an accident. Oopsie daisy. Boop-a-doop. Okay. Maybe. Wait, will that work? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'd better leave that one out of it. I don't know. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bead pattern. No. No. Well, shit. That particular person sounded like a podcast host. It was really confusing. You're loving this, Immortal? I am very confusing myself. This is why people use Loom bands. I know this to be true, but still. 2, 3, 4. Screw it. I'm just going to start, and then we'll figure out our problems later on. How's that sound? That sounds like a plan? Yeah. Let's totally just screw ourselves over at the end of this project. That sounds good. All right, so I don't know what 4 bead pattern to use. I could use diagonals. I could use like colored dots inside of a bigger thing. I don't know. Diagonals would be fun, but I think alternating like just blocks would be cool. I think I'll do alternating blocks, but I'll pick a colorful thread if I have one. I've got yellow. That's not colorful. I have a bright ass orange though, which can contrast with those. Super nice. And I haven't used it often, so we're going bright ass orange. My size 10. Ooh, I like that. Hey, you could use the bands it came with to use as warps. I could, but those are expensive. And I keep forgetting to buy them. And that is actually the intent, is to use those and to buy more materials at a marked up cost. Or I could use not kazoo socks, jelly bands, which would do the exact same thing. Look at all the colors, but they're much thicker diameter. So, but they come for the same $4. You can get 100 versus 18, and be colorful. Like jelly bands, I think would be the way to go. So I need to get those at some point. Cause look at those colors. Look at that. Look at that. Those would make better warps for me as a person. And you know that some of them glow. Watch. Like some of them will light up in black light. There we go. Glow in the dark looms. Those are the little tiny loom bands. Oh, come on. We're not going to have UV. Fine. Those first ones probably would. Oh, stop being mean. I know, I'll find some. I just Google results though. So, yeah. I should be using actual bands as warps, but this is what I have because I bought it for just stretch bracelet repairs because I get a lot of those, or I did when I was setting up at shows. And I was just very mad at Stretch Elastic and all the various versions of Stretch Magic and stuff that you can buy, and it's just like, it pissed me off so bad that I just ended up getting Gossamer Floss instead because it's similar to what I have in this bracelet that I've had for 20 years. 22 years at this point. Well, I haven't had it that long, but I made it 22 years ago, lost it, and it came back to me. But yeah. So I'm just going to do a loop knot here how I start off all my beadyworks. Most of my beadyworks. Going to lark's head knot around the first one here. I think you're supposed to use the little tension rods that come in this, like under here, to kind of give yourself space or to kind of extra flex your elastic. I don't know. Like I said, I'm learning. So kind of like that, just kind of hold it up a little bit. So that when you take it away, the elastic like comes back down to itself. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making stuff up. Don't listen to me. Yeah, you are. That's what I thought. Gamer Mama, OMG, after having to start over and over a project, KO thread becomes an absolute nightmare. Note to self, know what you're doing first. Yes, every thread will fray if you have to pick your project apart several times. That is just what's going to happen. KO can stand it more than Nymo for sure, and 1G can stand it better than Nymo, but not very well. Sono and KO are the best. Hannah does okay. That's what I'm using now. I'm using Hannah. I haven't had too much problem with it fraying. I don't know that I've taken projects apart several times while using this thread. I don't know. It's only the second one I've ever bought. Pink is the other one. Okay, so let's just scoot these together now. No, stop it. Stop moving. Whee! But yeah, KO can become a nightmare. Any thread can become a nightmare. Whee! All right, first row in. Woo! We're getting somewhere. Possibly. I may hate myself later. We'll find out. Oh, still not close enough together. Beadwork doesn't quite cinch in until you have a few rows in anyway, but yeah. It's gonna be an interesting color palette for sure. I'm just gonna make little squares. Got a tail thread sticking out. Feed it to Reginald later. Underneath. Man, beadwork goes so fast when you got big beads. Just make squares and squares and squares. That's what I'm gonna do. Squares and squares and squares. 3 and 4. And I can move it along here if I need to. That's cool. No thread splicing happening so far. This is gonna be an interesting project. All right. Immortelle. This is why I can't wait to use my new loom. I want to be able to make more photos. I was gifted a Mirix and it stands up, so I think it'll be better for me than my old one. Ooh. Mirix looks like an intimidation thing to me. Like, I know it's meant for, like, proper tapestries, which has all the weird threads and all the weird places, and man, you got gifted a Mirix? That's amazing. Holy shiitake mushrooms. Damn. I'm impressed. Alright, so my next square is going to be the teal on the outside and the white on the inside. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah, no, even like the smallest one. Holy damn. That's a pretty penny. I've always looked at them in photos and been like, you know, it's a good thing I don't loom big pieces because I could not afford that. Yeah, no, right? Yeah, jeez. You have a very kind benefactor. The only loom I have ever been gifted is the one you see on screen. I wouldn't ask anybody to buy me a loom. Like, no. I'm actually super happy with my wire loom, the one I learned on. I still have it, you know? Doop doop. Boop boop boop. Doop doop. Definitely. I have gone through like 10 and could never make them work with having to sit and all, so I'm excited to try it. That's fair. I used to have a really big loom. It was handmade. I bought it off of eBay like forever ago. And it was huge and it did stand up, which was actually pretty cool. It was nice. But I'm just not a very big project beater, you know? I've just never been a very big project beater. Oh, geez. What's happening? Maggie, thank you for the bits. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. You know, guys, I haven't even been doing, like, giveaway points because I'm a dummy. But also... Thank you for the biddies. Also, let me find your name in here and let me write down Melody for an entry into the what is it called? Prototype Kaleidocycle giveaway. My goodness, I don't words. All right. Maggie is over here and in green. There you go. Another entry. You have 3 now into the Kaleidocycle giveaway on May 8th. Funky. Ooh. You already technically have an entry because you're in my Discord. Somewhere. Where are you at, Funky? Wait, no. Because you also subbed this year too, so. Funky has two entries. Because you've already subbed this year, and you're in my Discord. So there. How do I get more entries again? Alright, so every 100 bits, every sub, every gift sub, the giftee and gifter both get one. There's a 2,500 channel points redemption down underneath you. For your channel points, if you redeem 2,500, you can get an entry. And that was one of them. And then just being a member in my Discord as of the entry date, which is May 8th. So as of, it's going to be like May 7th, really. Oh, there it is. Boy, yes. So anybody who meets any of those qualifications gets a tick mark apiece. And I will be running that giveaway on my affiliate versary, really is what it is. So there you are, Funky. Number 3 for you. Which is the day I became affiliate here on Twitch 3 years ago. 3 years ago. No. 2 years? No. Yeah, no, 2 years affiliate. 3 years will be November sometime. And I still forget my actual stream anniversary. Affiliate is what I always count, though. I need to write down Melody's Treasure, though. In blue. Which I'm going to do right now. L-O-D-Y-S. Boop. Girl, that affiliate tenure is a mood. It is. Gamer Mama. Well, it has tangled too much. I have to start over. Insert tear face here. Oh. Sad. That does happen. Don't ever feel bad about wasting thread because, you know, you can always get more thread. And don't ever feel bad about having to take apart a piece because the only thing you really do lose is thread. And thread, as far as beading supplies go, is fairly inexpensive. So, no worries there. And I do have Melody Treasures written down for an entry into the giveaway as well for having subbed earlier this stream. All right. Looky there. We're on our 3rd color. This is going super fast because the beads are huge in comparison. You know, in comparison. Okay, so yellow with teal on the inside. And this is the color combo that Ixo was suggesting. I think he meant a darker color for these beads, but this is the closest I had. Because he has a shirt in each of these 2 colors and then white as an accent on them. And he's like, you know what color palette you should do next? And I'm like, what? And he held up his shirts and he said, plus white. And I'm like, oh, that would actually be kind of cool. Okay. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Boop. Boop, boop. So I wonder if I can just slide the beads instead of having to slide the work. It's only going to work so long. So it's not quite actually going to work. I'll have to slide the work at some point. This is me being dumb. This is what I actually do when I'm playing around with stuff for the first time, is I push the boundaries. I love that he gives you ideas. He does. He gives me color palettes, and then he gives me all sorts of ideas all the time. Like, he was the one that was like, how tiny can you make a kaleidocycle triangle? I'm like, well, I'm already doing them as tiny as I can. He's like, but you can go tinier, right? And I'm like, technically, but do it. And so I did. And then he's like, you can go tinier than that, right? And I'm like, the only way to do that would be if I ended up with size 15 beads. And he's like, but you could do it, right? And I did. And I had this like itty bitty teeny tiny tetrahedra made out of triangles, you know? Or just dumb stuff like Trogdor is technically his idea because I just started a dragon. And I just decided, you know, because I had only made the spear. And then he's like, what if you did Trogdor? Because it's S-shaped. And then he showed me, you know, the original Homestar Runner episodes, you know. And so he's part done. So Trogdor is going to pester the crap out of Ixo because he pesters the crap out of me with all my dumb stuff, you know. And then like a kaleidocycle face idea of the Macintosh spinny wheel of death. You know, that's another one. It's a fine looking trogdor. He's pretty cool. I only have this much stuffing left. Funky, do you have any fiberfill? Because I don't want to go to the store and spend, you know, just a few bucks, but you get this much. Like, I don't make dolls. But if you have fiberfill, that'd be handy. just like a handful. Because I obviously don't need too much, but I'm gonna run out. Immortel has a whole bag. I know, but you don't live in town. I would just like to have a handful from a friend, and Funky's really the only crafting friend I have in town right now. But if you do, that'd be amazing. If you don't, that's no big deal. But like, I don't want to have to go to the store and buy a bag for something I'm not going to use often or much of when I do. Let me look. Thank you. Mortel, all my crafting friends are here, so you're lucky. The only crafting friend I have in Tennessee right now is Queen Homeslice, who was in chat earlier, who is my best friend from high school. Alright, so I'm moving the outside bits because I have to move this because I need different working area. I don't know. Let's see how this works. Uh-oh. Well, I guess I'm running into a problem there, aren't I? Maybe I should have only done a 3-bead pattern. Crud. Look at that. But theoretically, you move your piece along the work here. Yep, come on. Your work along the loom. Ugh. Unsquish it. You know, I'll just tie a knot somewhere in there and fix it later. I know what I'll do. Yeah, I'll just tie a knot. We'll tie knots. All my crafting friends are here. Dude, I'm in Tennessee. I didn't know you were. You're not, are you? Not anymore. Not since I was in high school. I lived in Centerville when I was a teenager, from the time I was 13, well, technically 12, till the time I was 18. I was in Centerville. Alright, so I'm just going to add, I don't know, a kind of shortish length of this stuff. Since it takes knots pretty well, I'm just going to do a little bit of an overhand knot here. Since this is technically my working warp thread. Whoopsie. And just kind of move this along, I guess. Whoopsie. Okay, I'm making life harder on myself, obviously. Don't do what I'm doing. This is why they suggest clasps, I guess. Yeah. But it also helps to know what you can and can't do with the tool, you know. This is why they don't suggest doing it this way. This is why they suggest doing it with jelly bands, which I will probably end up buying some jelly bands. But I'm sure that this would be a useful method for something. Not sure what, but something. So I'm going to attach that one over there and find my other side, wherever it went. And attach it over there. I don't even know what's happening anymore, guys. I've made life difficult. Look at this. Okay, so those aren't warps. These are still. Adventures in Pearl doesn't follow instructions. Yay! Of course not. Why would she? When there are weird tools to be worked with and weird other things to be worked with. You know, and I have knots in my warp threads all the time when I do stuff anyway. Oh, come on, be nice. Scooch along. It doesn't want to scooch along the thread tensioner. The beads are too big. So it just wants to like... Fine. I'm only going to do it on the other side then. Meh. Sorry if I'm out of frame. I'm not used to doing this on camera, so... Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. We're just gonna play around. Yeah, I have made it harder on myself, so it's not necessarily faster, it's just something. More kazoos! All the cheering on of the disaster time we're having. Woo! The looming is going fast because the beads are big. And, you know, I'm sure once I work with this a few more times and get used to it, that it will also be not really a huge deal. Probably next time I will do a knot stretch bracelet and make life hard on myself. I will probably follow the instructions like normal and attach it to a clasp with a starter strip of square stitch. But yeah, I don't know. I still like it. It's not at all the most frustrating thing I've done, even recently. Yesterday, my thread snapped in the middle of the beadwork for Trogdor, and I had to take apart 2 or 3 rows and restitch, reattach thread, weave back to where I was, and continue. That was frustrating. This is just dumb. I'm just being dumb. That is what my chatbot live notification always says. Vanishing Pearl is beating something dumb. Come find out what it is. And here it is. So this is interesting. You know, and it's not too much thicker than the one I'm already wearing. So, yeah, we are gonna find out how this ends up in the end. What am I doing, guys? If you can't make yourself laugh, was it even worth it? Do, 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 do. Yep. Tangled. No, come back. Aha! So the next one I might try with size 8 beads, which is the next size down, and then the one I try after that will be size 11, which is, you know, most common size beads, or most loved size beads. And then I might do some like shaped beadwork stuff and some pre-strung shaped beadwork stuff, and who knows, I don't know, like just having the ability to make bead woven stretchy bracelets is insanely amazing. That's amazing. Because a lot of people ask if I make stretch bracelets, and really all you can do with stretch magic is string. And it's just like I could, but I don't want to do just boring easy stuff. I want to weave with stretch elastic. And so this Gossamer floss is working all right for that purpose. And I'll try various of a longa as well, just to compare the two brands. I'm sure they're the exact same thing. Because what's the dimension on this? This is 20 yards. I need the dimension. Latex free. Plus a needle, which that needle's kind of a joke. Like, what? It's just a twisted needle. Super tiny eye. It's meant for stringing. The dimension isn't on here as far as diameter goes. But I know a longa is like 0.7 millimeter. This is roughly the same, I'm sure. Yeah, it looks like 0.7 millimeter. I'd like 0.5 or 0.25 would be ideal. But yeah, I don't think that's necessarily going to be a thing that happens for me. So, come back here. Woohoo. Ugh. When I took my stretch break earlier, I was walking outside and the weather is just super nice. It's like, I think it's in the 60s. Like, let me check. Is it in the 60s? That's what it said the high was today. Yeah, 64 right now. And I'm just like, every part of me is like, go outside and garden. And has been all month, because January is the month where it warms up. I have mowed my lawn in January before, and I heard a lawnmower yesterday. I must have gotten rid of my polyfill when moving. Sad face. Oh no! That's okay. Thank you for looking. Thank you for being accommodating. I think what I'll end up doing, if I run out, is I have some white organza, like fabric, not tulle, this stuff. I'll probably just stuff his tail with this stuff, because I bought a bunch of scarves at Faith Resale, and it's thin enough, and I'm malleable enough that I can just cut part of it off and stuff it in there anyway. Because what I was going to do is, this stuff is good for tambour embroidery. I've done tambour before, once. I need to get better at it. Ooh, guys, that could be our next community challenge, is get me better at tambour embroidery and stop avoiding things. But I can just stuff this in his tail if I run out of that. That's been my backup plan. Make use of what you have. Stash bust what you have before you have to go out and be forced to buy something for a project. But yeah, thank you for offering funky. Oh, well, thank you for looking. I asked. But it's not something I use often, so it's not something I own. Like, I don't own a sewing machine either, but I need to sew once every like 2 or 3 years. And so what I do is I end up asking somebody who owns a sewing machine if I can borrow theirs for a week or two while I work on whatever project. This last time around, I borrowed the one Ixo's mom owns. And I made, the orange behind me is a curtain for a shelf. The shelf actually goes on top of my desk. It's a hutch for my desk, but I don't like hutches. I use it as a supply shelf, but I don't like looking at stuff, so I made a curtain for it. And then I made all the fabric drapes for my displays last year that I will never get to use until pandemic goes away. What's a community challenge? Oh, on Twitch, well, I don't have it up anymore because we met it. On Twitch, under like channel points management, your community can contribute their channel points balance towards a challenge. And I just set it at 10,000, which I think is kind of low because people met it all in one stream for this to happen. But I just set it at 10,000, said I will break out the endless loom and work with it on stream for your guys' enjoyment and pleasure at watching me fumble through a piece. And so people threw their leftover channel points at me until it met that community challenge. And so I need to set new ones. And I think tambour embroidery might be one of them. I'm going to move this piece again. Try not to ruin my tension as I do so. Come on. Be nice. Okay. Guess I gotta hold on to this somehow while I do this. Ah! So, yeah. One of my edges might be all weird and such. Hey, there we go. All right. So I'm at the knot there, it looks like. Yeah. Whoop. Oh no, what did I do? There we go. Okay, okay. But yeah, that's basically what a community challenge is your viewers will contribute the points that they accumulate while watching, and once you reach X number of goals, streamer does certain thing on stream. You know, and for gamers, that could be like play a certain game or do a certain challenge or something. For creatives, it's more along the lines of learn a certain technique, you know, like non-knitters learn how to knit on stream. Or I'm not going to do that because I have no interest in fiber arts. But what I do have an interest in is using new tools like this one. You can see I'm about almost halfway done. So that's what I've got so far. And it's a little wonky and wobbly, but it will straighten out over time. But things I'm interested in are learn new tool, which is endless loom, or, you know, learn how to do Pondo stitch, or I've never done St. Petersburg stitch, or learn how to do tambour embroidery a little bit better, or, you know, various techniques and stitches and stuff along the way that I've never actually done. But if I have an outside source encouraging me to do the things I'm procrastinating on, then I will be more likely to actually get around to that stuff versus defaulting to things I've already started. Oh, that's a lot of words. Gamer Mama, I'm hoping to get to see you stream more when you figure things out. Yes. I used to stream 3 days a week. It used to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, same time of day. But that's when my schedule wasn't as full. That's when I had a part-time job where I only worked 2 days a week instead of 5 days a week. I might stream tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow too. Imagine that. 3 days in a row. What happened? What? So I might stream tomorrow night. I'm thinking that'll happen. Unless, like, I get knocked over sideways or super tired for some reason. I think we should be good for a glow stream tomorrow night. Evening, roughly 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's when the sun is setting. I think it's actually setting at 6:30, but it'll be dark enough in here for that by about 6. So we should be good. Yep. Come back here, you. Oh. I keep forgetting to put my tension rods back on. Or just the one, really. And that's just to keep the warps tight, really, is what it's for. If I try to do it on this side, it just separates the beads. Weird. And I don't like that, so I'm not doing it. I gotta scooch my rows down. Ah! So I gotta be careful with these tail threads. Weave them in somehow soon. Figure out how to make this all work in the end, at the very, very end. But yeah, I'm hoping to stream more eventually, consistently, at least 2 days a week. That would be lovely. Doesn't always happen, but that's okay. My job keeps me busy, but it also keeps me fed, and that's what matters. Blue Feather, my old chair broke and my Wi-Fi router broke too, so I ordered a new chair and Wi-Fi. Oh no. Those are both important things. I'm sorry that happened. You doing all right otherwise, Blue Feather? I'm probably gonna need to get up here in a little bit again, yeah. If I've been live over two hours, almost 2.5. What the heck? I know I took a break in there, but it didn't feel like this last hour is just zoomed by. Zoom, 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 zoom. I want to finish a bracelet on stream, which is why I chose the big beads. I like how the white one is just kind of off kilter back there behind. Things are at different angles. I don't know, Immortal. I think this loom is fun. I think it's derpy and fun. I can see why it would be frustrating, but at the same time, I think it's just dumb. It's good. It's a good dumb. Not like, oh, this tool sucks. It does not suck. It's very interesting. I'm also doing the hardest thing with it first. I'm glad you like it, because I did not. Lol. You know what loom I don't like? I do not like the jewel loom. The little one that's shaped like a bow. Like it's like that. Like it folds flat, but then you put the tension rod in it and it's just U-shaped. It rocks. Obviously, it would rock with being that shape. It's a decent design, and I guess if you're like holding it in your hand or something, I don't know. Like, there was a project I had on there for months that I didn't finish just because I didn't like the loom. Then I made myself finish it, and then I put it in the Goodwill pile of get this out of here. Like, I wouldn't really wish that loom on anybody I like, you know? I have one, but have yet to try it. I got it in a bead camp. I did. Oh, cool. I just like my wire loom. I think just the standard normal loom shape is just perfect for what I do, you know. I don't do anything wider than bracelet width anyway. So I don't do big tapestries, and I don't do like super long belts or anything. I've done belts on it before. And I don't do hat bands often. I've done a hat band on it before. So most of the time, I don't do anything wide enough to necessarily need a bigger loom. And if I do, I just wrap my threads around a jewelry tray for width. And the tension is just fine, and the projects turn out just fine. So I don't find that I need anything other than what I have at home already. But, like I said, I don't do big tapestry pieces. At least, not yet. Or not again. I tried to do Starry Night once when I was in high school, and that failed miserably, and I never finished it. But I was also using Bead Creator at the time for the software. Back when, oh, oops, wrong one. I need a row of white first. Back when Bead Pixel Art software wasn't that great, and Bead Creator has never been the best one anyway. Like, I have the preview of Bead Tool downloaded. You know, the version where you can't save. And you can't zoom out all the way either. And I just, for funsies, yesterday morning, I imported one of my files for a potential tapestry and was just super impressed at how easily and how well Bead Tool just converted it to pattern. And I'm like, yeah. If I ever get around to doing this big piece, I think I'll buy this to make that easier for me. I think it'd be good. So I'm just going to weave in this tail thread from tying on this extra warp later at the end of the project, but I'm going to have to tie on a new working thread here too in a second, which I think will also be tied in at the end of a project. Just seeing how things are working. Let me see. Immortal, desperately want to do Starry Night. I also bought a Wizard of Oz pattern. Ooh. Yeah, I use Bead Tool for mine, and it seems to be doing really great. Man, you do such big pieces, though. Holy cow. I'm always impressed. Every time I look at your stream, I'm like, that thing is huge. That thing is huge. Huge. Okay. think I get one more row before I need to add new thread. I also need to get up and take a break again. I really needs the bathroom. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, you put a lot of work into those, and it's really impressive. A lot of work. Holy moly. Alright, so that was just a random piece of thread I had left over from the last time I would use this. I don't know when it was. Hannah's probably also a good choice because it is a thread with a lot of bounce in it, like just naturally anyway. Immortal just wanted to do something different and something to help my anxiety. Yeah, beading will definitely help calm you down, put you in a meditative mood. Sometimes it'll put you to sleep. I don't know if it was the beadwork yesterday that was putting me to sleep or just like Saren's soothing voice while I was watching her stream, or just the fact that I was working on Trogdor and over it. Or most likely it was the caffeine crash from having coffee yesterday morning. But like I just took a nap at 3:30 and it was a good time. It was a great time. Yeah, beadwork is super calming. I will agree with that. Gamer Mama, I would imagine that bigger beadwork means lots and lots of beads on hand, lol, but I bet you have a nice stash. I don't really have a nice stash. Immortel does. Oh, yeah. About 30 trays of seed beads. Gosh, goals. No, wait, like 30 trays of beads? Pictures. Discord. I know you're in there, but I'm gonna do the Discord command anyway. I want to see your beads. I want to see your beads. Like, I have 10 trays of like the average size circles, but they're not all like delicas. They're all sizes of beads. My stash is not huge. I want to see too. My stash is not huge compared to some people. Like, I want Orchid and Opal's bead stash. I think that would be amazing. Amazing. But, like, the way I store beads wouldn't look as nice, you know? Immortal. I'll have to get my son to take pics. They're stashed under my bed and desk. Gotcha. When that happens, I'd be very curious. Ooh, okay. Look at me and all my thread mess happening here. It's actually fine though. Like I like this. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. I have to move it again though. Which I'm very surprised at Gossamer Floss's ability to hold knots. Like these knots have not come undone with tension added to them. Not something you can say about stretch magic. This stuff, which now that I have this, is going in my get it out of here pile. If I haven't already done that. Oh, what do you know? I already did it. GTFO stretch floss. Stretch magic. You're not allowed in my house no more. It's gone already. Pat on back, self. Now, if I had as much beads as I do yarn, I'd be set, right? That's how some people, you could just gotta start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. I started by not owning beads of my own. I took my mother's bead stash and used that. I started by learning beadwork, by visiting a friend at her house. Her mom told us to clean under her bed. And I found a wire loom kit. A loom just like this. This is my mom's, actually. Not anymore, it's mine. Loom just like this, plastic beads, thread, needles, instructions, etc. So we played with that for the afternoon until her mom came in and said, hey, why didn't you clean under the bed like I asked? And we were like, we did. We found this. And she's like, get back to it. And so we played with that the rest of the week afterwards. And then I didn't see it again for several years. But I went home and I had seen this wire loom that I just showed you in my mom's stuff for years and years and years and years and never knew what it was, you know? But now that I knew what it was, I got it out and I said, Mom, can I play with some beads? Which ones do you not like? Because, you know, my mother has supplies she prefers over others. And she told me which ones. And so I played with those and I played with those and I played with those and I made stuff and I loomed things and I asked what other beads, what other colors, what other things can I have? And she eventually said, stop using my beads, go buy your own. And so I did. Yeah. And so I started buying my own beads and so we hit up Hobby Lobby. Michael's didn't have beads at that time. Walmart had almost nothing at that time. So anytime we were in a Hobby Lobby, I just came away with beads and beads and beads and beads and beads. And I built my own stash and then I moved away and I built more of my own stash. And like I started ordering from catalogs somewhere in there and, you know. So my stash has been small and it's been big and it's been medium sized, but it's never been gigantic. Ooh. I talk too much. Gamer mama. I have a closet with yarn in it and nothing else, and you cannot walk into. Oh my gosh. Then in hubs in my closet, I have 2 more big long totes of yarn and some kinda in different places in there also. So you're talking about number of yarn items or amount of volume yarn takes up? Because those are 2 different things. You can hide a lot of beads in a small space. A lot of containers of beads in a small space too. But yeah, you'd be set either way. You'd be really, really set. Amount of items, I have lots and lots. Nice. Oh. No! Look at it. Sad. This one has blockage. That one I might be able to get out if I had a bead reamer, which I put on my list this morning. Okay, I had to do several pics, so I'm doing a collage and I'll put it in Discord. Oh, sweet, that's fast. Reginald, can you poke it out? Can I poke myself with Reginald's scissors? Yes. Nope. Oh. Lost bead. I'm just going to add it to my bead soup and play with it some other time when I find it in there later. That's about it. This is my bead soup of everything. I found it mostly like this, but I just add beads to it every now and then. Even ones with no holes, just in case I end up gluing beads to something later. This sliced pimentos. I don't know. I found it like that. It was in a craft hoarder's home that an old boss of mine had bought out and was asking us to clear out. It was an interesting day. That's how you get bed bugs. Just so you know, don't help clear out anybody's hoarder house. You will come home with bed bugs. That was not a fun time. Immortelle. Oh, you did picture. Okay. Gamer mama. The yarn in that closet is almost as tall as me. Oh, do I need to check Discord? Okay, let me finish this row. I also keep saying I need to go on break, and I haven't done that yet. Oopsie. Oh, I didn't do this part either, did I? That would help. And that would work better on this side if the beads were smaller. It wouldn't separate them quite so much. Okay. I would post pictures, but it's an awful mess. Let's see. Photographs? Got photos? Oh, maybe. Not yet, but soon. Okay, I do need to take that break. I do need to get up, stretch, hydrate some more again. Use the restroom because I drank lots of water last time. Hydrate. Woo. Oh, general art, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Where should I put it? What does your craft space look like? Is where I usually put photos of crafting areas. So it's in between yardening and general art. But I will be right back. Need to get up and stretch and stuff. And I suggest you guys do the same. And I'll come back and fix my lighting settings again because the sun is even further down. Woohoo! Be right back. All right, I'm back. Here we are. We're getting close. I already see problems coming on the horizon for finishing this guy, but we're not there yet, so we're ignoring that. All right, Immortal, can I have your beads? Like, I want them. Like, I want even that, just one tray's worth of colors. Like, how many does that hold? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 36? Roughly? No? I don't know. I just, nuh-uh, lol. Yaha. Yaha. I want speeds. 78 per tray? Nuh-uh. I don't even have 78 colors of delicas. I got... maybe 50? $51 that I can see, that I can find. So maybe 60 max. Yeah. Oh, now I must count my beginner stash of delicas. I got my first delicas when I was about 15 or 16. A lady was destashing her beads, found me at a craft show and said, "Here, have these." And I'm like, what? What are these? And so my collection has slowly grown over time, but not by a lot. And now I see that, you know, most people start off with delicas, and I'm like, what? You must have dollars. And then I realized that they're adults starting off by buying delicas, not kids starting off buying delicas. And so, like, I have to adjust my brain. Immortal, the tray on my table is just my project tray, so I only put what a project needs, plus thread and burner. Gotcha. I don't even have a thread burner. I have 90-ish colors. Then you have more than I do, Gamer Mama. You have more delicas than I do. Immortal, I started with Ming tree beads with stringing, then I used them in my trees. Right. I remember your trees. Hello, Elf. I'm starting off by doing a dragon kit, lol. Kinda not really. Are you really gonna get one? Oh my gosh. No. No more dragons for me. Just Trogdor is the end. I cannot. But also, I also don't like things like bead crochet, which some people freaking love. It's too much for me. But I like to do things that other people are like, why would you ever? And that's like kaleidocycles. Like they just come naturally and fun to me. Whereas other people are like, even other beaters are like, never, nope, not happening, you know? Gamer Mama, oh, can't wait to see it, maybe. Oh, I was actually the one that brought it up as a query that had Saren reaching out to Can't Beat. Oh, man. So this is partially your fault. Partially. Immortal, I hate bead crochet. You and me both. I hate it. Actually, I think the problem I had with it is that I wasn't buying the right size crochet hooks. And so they were all too big for the beads I was using, which is fair. But man, getting bead crochet started is awful. You can do starter strips, though. I did see somewhere, probably Jill Wiseman, probably somebody else, I don't know, one of the masters, talking about bead crochet starter strips. And I think if I were to do that, I think it would make life a lot easier. So that's an option. Elf, yes, I have been blamed. You are the instigator. The problem maker. I don't even know where I'm supposed to hold my beads. I'm not even looking at the camera, really. I don't know where I'm looking. Everywhere but. Immortelle. Have you seen Sandra Young's work? She does a chain stitch and adds beads to make jewelry. It is decent to do. Please show me a link. I don't think I know what you're talking about, actually. I feel like that name should be familiar, but these days, not so much. Sure, hold on. Yeah, grab me a link. I don't think I know what you mean. Oh, I need more yellow. I love these beads. They're super bright. Joann's has a bunch of brightly colored beads, and I buy them when I'm there because the nearest Joann's to me is an hour away. And they have some interesting selections of beads. I really like their selections of beads. They're fun and just different in general. They don't have like size 11s though, which is sad. Not very often. Oh, Naughty Do It All. It's a cute username. Yes. Oh yeah, just chain stitch bead crochet. Those are super nice. Bead crochet needle kit. Interesting. Oh man, she is all about bead crochet, isn't she? Holy dang. Eslon. I have Eslon. I could crochet with that. No, it's a board she made. Oh, where? What? Oh, dang. Oh, I see that. Okay. Video that shows what the cleat is for. It makes crochet so much easier. Oh, I guess it helps with your tension and stuff. Cool. Or she created it for making jewelry. I have it. Do you like it? That's huge, though. My gosh. But, huh. My gosh. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. You can also make tiered jewelry, and yes, I love it. Interesting. You know, I haven't tried bead crochet in so long. I'm just going to let her gallery play off to the side here for me to glance over every now and then. But, yeah, no, I haven't tried bead crochet in so long. Hello, Ava. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. I am using an endless loom that Immortelle here sent me because she didn't want it anymore. I am just being dumb and doing things with it I already shouldn't. You know, par for the course. Par for the course. I don't know how to make life easy on myself. It's fine. I'll have been beading 19 years this summer. Like, after a certain point, you don't want life to be easy. You just want to be difficult. You just want everything to be difficult. For the challenge and the love of the craft. I crack myself up. I used it once and was like, nope. Feeling like crap. It's a bit rough in life. Oh, no. I'm sorry you're under the weather. I've always wondered how the endless part works. Not the way I'm doing it. Let me get the instructions out for you so you can see what should actually be happening. I am using materials it's not meant to be using for my first try. Go figure. Okay, so what they have you do. Instructions. You have clasp, yes? They have you do a starter strip of square stitch, and then you warp between the beads. Your warps are set between the beads of the square stitch from one side to the other. This is if you have a bracelet with a clasp. This was before they did the elastic bands bit. So you weave that way, you come up to the other side, you weave your needle through the bead on the starter strip, you go back around, and you repeat that all the way around until you have your warps. So you don't have loose ends because your beadwork is what's holding the warp threads together, which in and of itself is genius. And this is how I used to do bead strips on a loom. That I would tie beads to like a dowel or something and then warp my beads this way. And then when you cut it off the dowel, you just have to go back in every other one. I've done that before. But yeah, you just weave your work around. And you don't have any threads to tie in other than your working thread. That's how it should be. That is not what I'm doing. They also have a method where you use, here you go. Let me show you again. Endless loom bands, which are little bands you wrap around. Let me see. They're basically like jelly bracelets. You put those around this. However many warps you need is how many bands, you know. And then you weave between those and it's perfect. So that's also endless and not needing to weave anything in. Me, I'm just being dumb and I'm using gossamer floss, elastic floss, and wrapping it as warps and playing around and being stupid and dumb. Doing the hard project first so that I can graduate to easy ones later. Of course. Gamer Mama. So you don't like the loom at all. You prefer the other forms like peyote, brick, etc. to Immortelle. Immortelle, I don't know, might have a hard time with the loom. I like looms. It's how I started. I like to play around with them and do dumb things. I like to do shaped beadwork on looms, like this guy. And beadwork with shaped beads. I have a bracelet form. It's got montees, which are pre-strung on my warps, and then shaped beadwork, as well as 2 beads per row for the montees, and patterned and woven in. I had to cut the threads here to weave them in as well. Yeah. So this piece I still want to submit. Beadwork ignored me from back in November, so I'm going to submit it to Bead and Jewelry next. It's a very pretty piece. I really love it. I really love it. Immortelle. I don't know how to use a loom, but the endless loom is not for me. I got a Merrick's as a Christmas gift and haven't tried it yet. Oh, Merrick's. I've never used one, but man, do they look fancy. Ava, I think I would have to study that instruction back and forth a few times before getting the hang of it. Got issues with spatial vision. Ah, gotcha. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Ooh, something else. Would you like to see? See what? What did I miss? I would like to see, but I don't know what I'm looking at. I forgot my tension rod again. Nope, I didn't. It's over there. Okay, we're good. I think I've seen you working on that one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. It took me 3 tries to get that pattern right. I did stream it, didn't I? I remember. Man. It's been a minute, huh? Immortelle. I can put the beads on a loom, but warping has always given me trouble. I think it's because I can't get above it. The warps are always going to be the hardest part about loom work. You either have to accept that they're going to cause you trouble or just love them in the first place. It's a love-hate relationship. I don't necessarily mind them so much. I know a lot of people just nope out at having to tie in ends, which is why there's so many different types of like easy looms. You know, like the Rick's loom, but it leaves loops along the edge, you know. This one's kind of cool. It's kind of genius all on its own. It's pretty nifty. Ava, I have an ordinary loom and have used it a few times for bookmarks. Nice. I use mine all the time. Elf, pulled out your bracelet, but it was on the wood grain display. Ooh, a wood you like. I'll use my face palm for you. There you go. Doo-doo-doo. Man. I didn't even catch it. Yep, you did. Yep, I did. Immortel, I sprained my wrist in November, so I'm still playing catch up from last year's list of projects. Then I plan to try it. Gotcha. Yeah, recover first, do things later. Always a good plan. But yeah, that bracelet was actually my favorite piece I made last year. And it was one of those that gave me trouble because my first bead selections weren't the best and my first color selections weren't the best. But I didn't give up and I kept at it and I kept trying and I used different size beads and it worked out in the end. And I was very surprised because usually what happens for me is even if I have a crappy project, I usually try to finish it through to the end. But in the instance of that particular piece, I'm like, no, this piece can be better. This piece can be fantastic. There's a different way. And so I ended up finding the different way, the better way, and it worked. And I found it. And I'm so happy. Ah, jeez. I made myself a mess. But yeah, that piece was my favorite one from last year as far as jewelry goes, because I didn't make a lot of jewelry. Made a lot of everything else, it feels like, though. Oh, look, they're not lining up. We're going to have to do some finagling. So for now, scooch that one there. Bad. I did a bad. Oh well, this is why we're practicing, right? It's not lining up. Oh no. We made a stupid. But I think sorry, I am trying to figure out how to fix my stupid. Okay, let me catch up. Immortel. I'm all better now, but it really slowed me down. Took me 2 weeks to go to something, then a month in a sling. So yeah, man, I have candy. Ava, I'm trying to figure out how to use some 4mm pearls and a Rivoli bezel and incorporate one whole lentil beads as well. Not going too good. My state of mind might have something to do with it. A lot of times that can be the case, yes. If you're just somehow not feeling it for one reason or another, that can definitely make an impact. Trying to figure out what I want to do here because I've gotten stupid in my design. Probably narrow down to 3 beads and do something different in the middle there. You guys see the problem here? You see the problem? Gonna be a bead off of each other. Dang. Ava, yeah. Either keep coming back to it and suffer through, or take a break, step away, come back to it tomorrow, and continue to suffer through. That's usually the easier course of action, honestly, is just making it easier on yourself by coming back to it tomorrow. Immortelle, yeah, if you're not feeling well, your creativity slows down. Yeah, sure does. Immortelle, see, at this point, Pearl, I would have thrown that. You would have thrown it? Really? Oh, yeah, I can see why, you know. I'm gonna do something goofy. Make it meet up somehow different in the middle. I don't know. Like I said, it's just practice. Elf. Because the way it goes around, wouldn't it always end up like this until you bring an extra string in? Yeah. Well, I did bring an extra string in earlier. Or, ER, emergency room. What did I miss? Oh. Oh, you would have thrown your wrist. Gotcha. Okay. Because, like, if I try to turn these into one warp thread, I still end up a bead off. But yeah, there's not really a way to fix that whoops. And that's actually kind of what I thought was going to happen if I did it this way. So chances are I'll end up buying some endless loom bands at some point. But more than likely I'll end up buying some jelly bands instead, which are a heck of a lot cheaper for roughly the same price. But they're also a lot wider round. Do you figure out where it happened? Oh, it's only because I'm wrapping it like this, you know. Because it doesn't have a peg with the side-to-side action like you get with the normal loom. It has a roundy, roundy, roundy action. Roundy, roundy, roundy. And you're supposed to make the ends meet in the middle. It's always going to do this. If I were to put a bracelet on this, like a clasp, then it wouldn't matter. Because then I could just cut it and weave in ends. But that's not the point here. The point is to make a stretchy bracelet. I'm just going to play with it. I'm not upset. I knew I was always going to do something dumb. Like, I knew this going in that it was going to do something like this. But I can make it do something I want it to here in a second. It's just figuring out the pattern for the last few rows now that I have this other pattern going is going to be interesting. I don't know what size needle the floss will work with, though. I'll have to experiment and see what I have on hand. Probably some sewing needles would be just fine for the size it would need. Ooh, come back here. Come here. 3 and 4. Yeah. Where's my... These are about a ½ inch each. Each? Yeah. Whole inch will fit. Okay. So, what I'm going to do instead of beading all 4 of these is only bead 3. And make my pattern skinnier. So 1, 2, and 3 instead of 4. and just go with the fact that it is going to be off kilter and just not care. Because right now it's just me practicing. Like nobody needs to be offended. Nobody needs to have upset feelings that it doesn't line up. That's just what it's going to do, is it's just not going to line up. Shaped beadwork with elastic stretchy bracelet. That's just how we look at it. I am offended. You're over there though. You can't reach through the TV screen and beat me up about it. Or the monitor. Oh, I missed a comment, Elf. 1 second. If it were a single loop per thread, it would shift to one side. Because it's one stretch thread looped in circles, it will shift off because of the way the thread loops. Exactly. And I think the only way to prevent that would be to maybe would be to do it this way. The only other way to avoid that would be to do it this way, which is the bracelet I showed you earlier, where it was individual loops tied off. So let me get this guy back out. The only way to get it squared up like this one is to do it the way this one is done. Which, if you see here, those are all knots. So it's measured out and knotted, but then the knots all show. Exactly, right. So, yeah. That would be the only way to get it squared off with what I'm using now. Or I could just buy endless, seamless jelly bands, which will be the solution next time maybe? Or maybe I'll do it this way? I don't know. When I figure out designs I want to make for endless loom bracelets, for stretchy bracelets, I will play around with other designs when I come to them, you know? But for now, finish this guy since I started it. And then play with those ideas later. I still think it's fun. I don't know about you guys, but I still think it's fun. Doop 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 doop. Whee! Get in there. Go on. Underneath. Woohoo! Okay. And then a skinny yellow one. Derp of a stretch bracelet. Derp derp derp. So hopefully it's something I can wear over the next couple of days, next few days. Play around with. No. Yellow. See, I knew I should have only done 3 across this whole time. If I'd only just stuck with 3, well, no, it still would have always shifted off by 1. Never mind, that wouldn't work. Don't mind me, I'm lying. One more row after this, and it will fit, I promise. went under the wrong one. I'm getting tangled. Okay. There we go. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow, yellow. That's my grandma used to say hello on the phone. Yellow. Or it was Yeller, actually, with the ER. Like Old Yeller. The dog. That's how she would say hello. I always thought it was cute. I'm just flipping it over to get my thread going the right direction. Yay. Ah, hey. Needle, where'd you go? Peter's least favorite words. Needle, where'd you go? It's over here. Yeah. I'm just trying to get it underneath the warps. Going that direction. And then above the warps, going this direction. To finish it off, we have met in the middle. Look it, guys. I'm going to do some half hitch knots along the edges, tie in my thread. Oh. Another knot over here for fun. So theoretically, this would be the end of it if I had just, done it the normal way. But I didn't do it the normal way. So I've got a little bit of work to do still. Not as much as if I had loomed a full bracelet, though. Like, traditionally, at any rate. Hello. Oh, hello to Elf. Gotcha. All right. So we've got that. I'm going to slide it off. Whoa. Look it. Too tight. I think I did too many rows, guys. Woo! That is special, isn't it? Okay. Oh, man. Too tight. Okay. So I loomed it too tight, too many rows, apparently. Well, that's something special. No loose ends, you said. Hey, don't wink at me. I said from the beginning I wasn't following the instructions. Oh, it's so tight. It is not not what should be happening here. Alright, so next time I'll follow instructions. But yeah, this is probably a bust. It's fine. You guys got to watch me practice. And now I'm gonna make a bead soup. Went to the cupboard to look for some blue delicas. I didn't find them. What I did find, though, was hat pins and eye pins I forgot I possessed. Wait, like your food cupboard? Or just delica cupboard? Ah. Look it. It's so dumb. This is a bracelet, apparently. So now we know why they say clasp. Haha. Right, yeah. Like, I totally ignored all the instructions for the standard methods of weaving on this loom. But I also know that gossamer floss is strong AF. Strong as fuck. Look at that. Look how far you can stretch it. No. I have a craft cupboard. Totally unorganized, but still. Well, it could have been your kitchen cupboard. I would not be surprised if you had beads in the kitchen cupboard. Because now, guess what we're going to go watch, guys? We are going to go watch Stuff Beaters Say. Because it is one of my favorite clips. All the time. I'm going to pause the music right quick so we can have some Melinda Barta goodness. Because
Hey, did you guys think 15s? These 11s are just way too clunky.
I'm just going to enjoy this with you.
That many crystal? Great! What a deal! Thank you!
I thought beading was less expensive than knitting.
Oh, how did they get in the chair?
How does get in the chair?
Oh, it's fine. It's just my bedroom.
They should make a bead shop called the grocery store. Then my husband will never know how much I spend there.
Wait, I just need to do one more row. Are these ergonomic bead rows hot or what? I think on the 24 karat gold plating in my house.
If it's too low, let me know.
$120 in supplies. No, I won't sell this.
I am so gonna sell this on Etsy. Oh, I need much better lighting, you know? Okay, this will work. Perfect. So this is the deal. My supplier, you can get me these in either 1 kilo bags or half kilo bags. And then what I do is I break them down into little gram bags. I've got my scale and everything. How did this get in the bathroom?
Oh, shoot. Oh, well, it's just a design.
Okay, I'll pause it. But yeah, let me pop the link in chat for you guys, cause this is my favorite like spoof video of all time, like for beading. It's great. I love it. It's the editors of Beadwork magazine, and 2012 at this point. Like, dang. But yeah. I made a scrunchie. How's it look? Hey, I could make a beaded scrunchie. Okay, it's not quite that tight to go over my hair once, but you get the idea. Should we feed it to Reginald? We should feed it to Reginald. They're hungry, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your cupboard is in the kitchen? So technically it's a kitchen cupboard that does have beads in it. So there's that. No. Okay, let me get my good thread out of the way before I do that. My Hana. But yeah, I like this loom. It's fun. It's dumb. I made a derp of a project. That's fine. Nobody's offended. I learned that this idea just to save on overall costs is not very effective. So there's that. Or rather by the eating area, which used to be a smaller bedroom. Interesting. Alrighty, there it goes. Woohoo! 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 Oh, let's get the jar out. Woohoo! 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 I'm making bean soup. Woohoo! So this was fun. I like playing with it. Oh! Gotta fly away. Where'd you go, little flyaway? There it is. Good thing they're big. I can see them in the carpet. Woohoo! Oh, you might want the music back on, huh? Maybe. At least so it's not dead silence. For me. Boop-a-doop. Today's stream was a lesson in what not to do with an endless loom. Congratulations. You watched me, what not to do today. This was fun. I'm super impressed by this stretch floss, though. This gossamer stuff. You might be like, why would you just waste materials practicing? I'm like, how else you gonna learn? You gotta waste materials sometime, right? It's just thread. The beads are the important part anyway. It's always just thread, you know. Oh, look how much it like frays and splits and stuff down the middle. Weird. Cool. So does that mean I could use like smaller bits if I needed to? Or would that like compromise the integrity? I think it'd probably compromise the integrity of the stuff. Weird. It all goes in the Ort jar. I don't know about you guys, but I had fun. So apparently, community challenges don't really result in anything worthwhile. This is what I've learned today. Snap, snap, snap. So this feels a lot more like the kind of elastic that's in a waistband, like around underwear. I'm getting there. I'm not reusing this thread. I don't feel confident enough that it won't fray on me if I try to reuse my weft thread. Ba-doom! Boom! Ba-doing! Ba-dow! Ba-doo! Alright, this was fun, guys. Who do we raid, though? Because I think it's stream time over. Yeah. Reusing the gossamer floss doesn't look like it's something that could happen if you needed to take it apart for whatever reason. Our jar gets orange in it. Gotta get back to real life, unfortunately. Me too. I'm thinking I want to go outside for a little bit. Like, I think I want to like start clearing out my garden beds. Like at least trim down last year's sunflower stalks so that this year's sunflower stalks can grow up very nice and big. But yeah, like getting these knots to come undone is a little more difficult than it looks like it should be. So that's cool. What happens if I just string several of them and then tie a knot? So mostly this was me practicing with gossamer floss as well. And I think it's a pretty decent stretch material. So I would use it to like make another bracelet like this, or like some sort of a right angle weave. Moat. Is Moat a Twitch user? Or did I miss something? Can I have a moat around my house? Keep invaders out. Mostly bugs. Moat. Megan of all trades. Ah, gotcha. I'm not in her channel enough to know it's an acronym for her name. Gotcha. Understood. I think I owe her a sub-triangle, but she didn't speak up last time she got gifted. And I'm always, like, feel weird about asking people in their own streams, hey, what triangle do you want? So I usually just wait for them to come back. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know if I've ever rated her or not. I shall find out. I know I have been in chat watching her a few times, but not rated, I don't believe. So I'm going to try tying these together and seeing if I can break it. So I can string size 6 beads on gossamer floss without a needle. And oh, it's not quite big enough for a ring, but just a yeah, I can break it. But it's already been used once, so who knows. Oh no, I like this stuff though. It seems like it is useful, but that once you have used it, you can't reuse it, if that makes sense. It has already given up a lot in the first use. So, here you go. A pile of Ort threads and a pile of beads that didn't amount to anything today. Pretty colors though. Like them together. Played and had fun. So we weren't completely unproductive. I did put together half a butterfly earlier. Oh man, playing with beads is so fun. Okay. Let's go work on starting that raid. Pick a channel. There we are. Alright guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for keeping me company while I did dumb stuff. I keep saying I had fun. Have a good evening. Thank you, Gamer Mama. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you everybody for the bit cheers and for following and for hosting and subbing. Take care, everyone. Yes. Take care, Ava. Don't stay up too late, okay? And I am going to start this raid for Megan of all trades. One day I will get a raid call put together. Eventually that will happen, but that's not today. I want to go cut down sunflower stalks. Like, I'm excited to be outside. I had a nice little walk break earlier, so yes, I will make sure I am over there first, and then I will see you over there. Let me find her. There we are. Mute. Wait. No, I said mute. Okay. 12:30 a.m. Too late. Oh. Don't stay up too much later then, I suppose. But I will bead you all later. Love you to pieces. And I will see you possibly tomorrow around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, possible glow stream tomorrow. If not, next Tuesday for sure. Schedule allowing. Bye.